What is on tap for this episode of Couz's Corner? We're talking Big 12 Media Days, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the comments of new Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark and a few comments that were made by West Virginia head coach Neal Brown. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and let me serve you up this shot of top shelf college football content. Let's go. What is up, college sports fans, fellow members of Mountaineer Nation? This is Couz. Welcome in to yet another edition of Couz's Corner. So pull up that chair and let's talk about Big 12 Media Days. Now, obviously, I didn't have time to watch every press conference, every interview from every team and every coach and all that. So I'd love to be able to break down the entirety of Big 12 Media Days, but I didn't have time to do that. But I did catch the comments made by new Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, who opened Big 12 Media Days with a press conference, and also was able to listen in on Coach Neal Brown's interview while I was traveling. So I'm going to kind of break down some things he said and give you my thoughts on it. So let's start with Commissioner Yormark. Number one, he used the term open for business multiple times. He says the Big 12 is open for business. Anytime you say something multiple times, most of you know this, it means you're stressing it. And he had written prepared comments, and he had written that down apparently multiple times. So apparently that's something he's keying on. It might be his mantra or his motto, or maybe it may even be the new Big 12 slogan. Who knows? Open for business. Us old heads like myself, after listening to his remarks, it's going to make old heads like myself probably fearful of what the Big 12 is going to look like and what college football as a whole is going to look like. But hey, that's the world we live in. We either have to accept it or we just might as well quit watching it, because that's the direction it's heading. We either have to jump on the bandwagon or let it leave us behind. So if we want to continue to watch our teams and our sport, we've got to embrace, or at least accept, these changes, and that is that college football, college athletics, is a business, and Brett Yormark is bringing that mentality to this role. Another thing he said, when talking about realignment, he did say they are taking phone calls. He wouldn't get into specifics, but he said they are fielding phone calls. He's fielded multiple phone calls, but he said right now they have all been explorative, and nothing is imminent. He said it could happen that they stand pat and don't do anything, or they could expand. He said they don't know yet. They have to vet every opportunity as they come and then make a decision. But he said if they do make additions, they will be additive and not dilutive, which means they have to bring value to the conference and to and additional revenue, and not just be making additions for the sake of making additions. That's how I interpreted that statement. He said they're looking for any and all opportunities, not only for expansion, but to add value overall. He said they will not leave any stone unturned. They're looking to add value to the conference in any way they can. Another thing he said that I picked up on that I think is big, and he said they want to nationalize the brand, and he said that multiple times as well, not only in his remarks at Big 12 Mini Days, but also in an interview he did with ESPN afterward. He said they want to nationalize the brand. Now, does that mean he wants to nationalize it geographically and get teams from coast to coast, which they've come pretty close to doing already? Does he want to expand and do that more, or did he mean nationalize it as far as brand recognition? I'm not sure what he meant. Maybe it's both. Another thing he said that I picked up on, and he said multiple times, he wants to build the Big 12 brand and business. Here are the adjectives he used when describing how he wants the Big 12 to move forward. He said they want to be bold, humble, aggressive, thoughtful, innovative, and creative. I like all those. I think they're all important and all things that the Big 12 needs to be moving forward. So I like those adjectives. I think they're perfect. He said he wants to make the conference more contemporary. And when he was asked to expand on that, he said he wants it to be younger, hipper, and cooler. So what's that tell you? He wants to appeal to a younger audience. And I think that's important, because us old heads like me, as we get older, we may not embrace or accept these new changes or not like them, but younger generations might love them, and it might actually attract more fans to college football. If you want to build the future of not only the Big 12, but of college athletics as a whole, you have to keep younger fans engaged, or get more younger fans engaged. And I think sounds to me like he wants to do that, and he wants to do it through more content, using social media in a better way, more creative ways. So he's probably talking YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. I'm sure he wants to utilize all those platforms, and I think that's a great idea. Now, I'm sure the Big 12 does that, but honestly, they probably don't do it very well, and none of these conferences probably do, because most of them are run by old heads like myself. But a few other things. After he is officially on the job August 1st, He's going to do a listening tour. He's going to visit all 14 campuses in the conference, hear from their leadership and how they want to move forward with the conference. He's going to compile notes, and then he's going to take that and go to the leadership, to the board, the conference board, and make some recommendations, and then that's how they move forward. And here's the one thing he said, and I think this is really, really critical. And we kind of all knew this, but he's now put it out in the open and said it out loud, and that is this. Everything they do, adding value, building the brand, building the business, is all to make the Big 12 more attractive and stronger for their upcoming media rights negotiations. He said that. It all hinges on that. That's the key. So he's going to do everything he can between now and those media negotiation times, which is probably, 1 to 2 years, give or take. He's going to do everything he can, along with the Big 12 leadership, to get the best TV media deal they can. So, that's where it's at. I'm glad to hear him say that out loud. Now, let's touch on some things Neal Brown said real quick. Neal Brown said in his interview some things that stuck out to me. Number one, said this could be the best defense they've had since he's been at West Virginia. And that's big because in 2020, they had one of the top defenses in the country. And they've actually had a solid defense ever since he's been there. So for him to say they might have the best one yet gets me excited. Another thing he said that caught my eye. He said they have added 33 guys to the roster, and they have remade their roster. So to me, that's a sort of way of him saying, hey, a lot of these guys that transferred out were probably coaches' decisions. They probably weren't fitting in with what they really wanted to do and how they wanted to play. So it was probably in their best interest to transfer and go somewhere else, or they might lose playing time, or there might be friction in the locker room, whatever. So I think, I said it in videos before, maybe it's addition by subtraction. Not that they're bad guys or even bad players, but they just may not be the kind of player they're looking for to play in the kind of defense or offense that they're wanting to play. So I think that's critical. He also said, back to the defense, he said that they are now going to be able to play more man coverage because they have the athletes, the speed, and the length to do that, and they haven't had that in the past. So I think that's key, which means they will be able to get more pressure on the quarterback from the front seven. And then last but not least, on the quarterback position, he said he spoke very highly of JT Daniels, talked about his maturity, how intelligent he was, how he's showing great leadership. He's humble. He's helping out the younger guys, all that. He's checking every box, basically. But he's not going to hand him the starting job. He has to earn it. And I think that's a great idea because you don't want to hurt the chemistry in the locker room from the guys who have already been there, not only in the quarterback room, but everybody. By just handing the job to this new guy, you got to make him earn their respect, their trust, and earn it from a skill perspective. And then also another thing, the reason I think it's important is because you need to get those backups reps in fall camp. And if it's an open competition, then they're getting more equal reps. If you have one guy who's already been named the starter, then he's going to get most of your reps in the fall. But this way, everybody's going to get some reps, and you're helping to develop those backups because we all know JT Daniels has been prone to injury. You develop those backups, and if he does get injured, they'll be more likely to be ready. They are more likely to be ready to step in and perform. Well, Cougars Corner family, Mountaineer Nation, let me know in the comments what do you think about new Commissioner Brett Yormark's comments at Big 12 Media Days, and what do you think about Coach Brown's comments? I want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to check out my merch store. Link is at the top of my description box. There's also a join button right below this video where you can become a channel member, take advantage of the perks I have to offer. I'll do some members-only videos. I will do some members-only live streams once I get my membership built up enough to make that worthwhile. I'll give you special shout-outs. Shout-out right now to HBAR Farkle, College Football, Jonathan Lewis, and Outlaw of College Football. All that comes along with some other perks as well. If you want to support me free, the big four, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that. I really appreciate you tuning in to this video, and until the next one, Q Country Roads.